Hello, I'm Colum Coleman, and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. Today, we will be reading the first part of a speech given by the Athenian general and statesman Pericles in the year 432 BCE, shortly before the onset of the Peloponnesian War. It was given in response to demands from the city of Sparta that Athens dismantle its naval empire, known as the Delian League, in the Aegean Sea. This speech, and many others of Pericles, was recorded by the Greek historian Thucydides. Let's jump right in. Athenians, I have always maintained that we must not make concessions to the Peloponnesians, though I do realize that people are often more passionate when they are first convinced to go to war than when they actually wage it. That as circumstances change, so too does resolve. Now I see that I must give you the same or virtually the same counsel yet again, and I am going to insist that those of you now making up your minds either stand by our collective decisions, even if they lead us astray, or else take none of the credit for their wisdom if we do succeed. Events can unfold just as errantly as human intentions, which is why we so often blame bad luck when things fail to go as planned. It was clear before that the Spartans were plotting against us, and that has become even clearer now. The terms of the treaty dictated that we mutually submit and accept appeals for arbitration, and that in the meantime, each side be allowed to keep the territory it already has. They, however, have never sought arbitration, nor have they accepted our requests for it. They want to resolve this conflict by war, not diplomacy, and have already taken to issuing orders instead of requests. They demand now that we quit Potidaea, allow Aegina its independence, and repeal the Megaran decree. Now these latest emissaries that have come to proclaim that we have let the Greeks be independent. Nobody here should think that we will be going to war for nothing if we refuse to repeal the decree, and the demand at the top of their list. If it is repealed, they claim, there will be no war. Nor should anyone feel any lingering remorse about going to war over a matter so small. This minor issue actually encompasses within it the whole proof and test of your resolution. If you capitulate to them, then they are just going to bully you over something bigger once they see you succumb in this instance to fear. But if you are firm, you will make it clear to them that they will have to treat you as equals. So make up your minds at once. Either submit before harm comes to you, or go to war. In my opinion, the better course. Be the pretext major or minor. Do not make concessions or act out of fear for our possessions. When neighbors circumvent procedure and start issuing demands, large or small, to their equals, it is always tantamount to the same thing: slavery. As to matters of war and the means that both sides have available for it, if you listen to each of my points, you will see that we are not in the weaker position. First of all, the Peloponnesians farm their own land and possess neither private nor public wealth. Second, they have no experience of prolonged wars overseas because their poverty curtails even the conflicts that they have with each other. They cannot outfit ships or deploy infantry because of the periods of absence and personal expense that doing so would require. What is more, they are cut off from the sea. State funds are better at sustaining wars than are compulsory private taxes, and farmers will be quicker to volunteer their persons than their property for a war effort. They think they can rely on their bodies to prevail in the face of danger, but worry that their resources will be exhausted if the war should drag out unexpectedly, as it is likely to do. The Peloponnesians might be able to hold their own against the rest of the Greeks in a one-off battle, but they cannot carry out a full-scale war unless it is against an enemy that has made comparable counter-preparations. That is because they are incapable of taking swift and decisive action in their combined assembly. Each member of their league has an equal vote, and because it is made up of various peoples, they all have their own agendas to pursue. This is why, as a general rule, they get nothing done. Some of them want most of all to exact vengeance on some enemy or other, Well, the last thing others want is to see their resources depleted. They rarely meet, and when they do, they spend very little time on matters of general concern, and most of it on maneuvering on behalf of their own individual interests. Each member thinks that no harm will come from his own indifference, that vigilance is someone else's responsibility. And because that is the approach they all quietly adopt, nobody realizes that the group's common interests are being left to crumble. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more excerpts from original texts, please follow or subscribe on your platform of choice. If there's a work you would like to hear, please be sure to like the video and leave a comment below. Thank you for listening.